Well, hello and welcome to my study intensity. I'm Author Joe Grace, and if you are just stumbling upon this video, you may want to go back and check the previous video of the study intensity of the oral deck and the book. The first layout that I did a first layout with the spread of 5, and you did an intuitive decision on which of the 5 out of the spread that you were led to. And right now we're on number 1, and number 1 was Geb, and the crystal or the gemstone was shungite. So I've already done the first notes on Geb. So if you check the previous video, you will be able to get it in full, but I am going to go back over it just a bit because I got more. I stopped last night recording in the middle of the night because this is intense. And so thank you if you stick around with this study on hieroglyphics. And we began with a spread of 5. This is number 1. And what I've done is gone through, made my study notes with my own intuitive thoughts, as well as writing down what the book Words of Power by Norman Ellis. So I've also written down what the book notes that each of the hieroglyphs represent, their interpretation, their character, the constitution, the state of consciousness, whatever you want to call them. It's a state, I believe, a state of consciousness that the hieroglyph, I believe, awakens a state of consciousness within you. That's why I said intensity, the power of memory. Intensity being the energy of memory, and the intensity with the E is the energy. Intense energy takes place when you utilize memory. And these symbols or hieroglyphs, I believe, awaken a sleeping memory within us, within our DNA, within the structure of our DNA. And because we are all from one DNA, one source creator, and within that structure of that DNA, the hieroglyphs awaken a memory within us that's been lost. So if you're interested in doing an intense study, then stick around as I share my own notes of what the divine gives me in my meditations, because what I do is I've started each one and begin meditating on each one. And according to the book, as she recommends, she suggests that you draw your own symbol and see how they speak to you. Or you can purchase the cards as I have, the Oracle deck of Chasset. They collaborated, and it works with the book. So you can draw your own symbols, which I actually did, began in my own book. But I also started with my notes. But I also actually, show you if I can get to this easily. I also, in my own sketchbook, because I have my own little sketch and drawings. But in my own sketchbook, I took one of the symbols, you can see it there, and that's what I began with. I began with the first hieroglyph. That's the Heka. That was the first one that I did in my sketchbook. And, oh, sorry, doggy. I'm knocking stuff over on my dog. Sorry. Okay. So, so she suggests that you actually draw the symbols yourself so that they will really speak to you and begin to germinate, I say, in my own language, within your spirit. And you'll find that they'll begin to register back to you. And the patterns will show up to you. The patterns will show up to you at another time. Like for me today, the patterns, I'm in the shower, and a portion of the pattern of the Heka, which is the one in my book, the first symbol or hieroglyph that I've drawn, which was outside of the spread. But a portion of that symbol showed up to me, and it came with, as I'm meditating, showing me that it's unending energy. It's unending energy. It's an eternal energy. And that's why when you see the lines that they refer to as Heka, as part of the Heka, or as part of the DNA strand, you'll notice in the strand that it's open at the end. It doesn't complete like a infinity. The infinity has a completion. But in the Heka, you see it intertwines a few times, but then it's open. And so for me, that was the energy. It's unending. It's an eternal energy. It keeps, it's constant. It's constant in motion.